Chimripsu and welcome to Khmer Youth Voices for Justice. My name is Linda Ou and I'm going to be your host today. I'm going to talk a little bit in Khmer so that way my Khmer audience aware that ជំរាបសួរពុកម៉ែបងប្អូនជាទីគោរពចា៎នាងខ្ញុំឈ្មោះ Linda Ou កម្មវិធីនេះកម្មវិធីរបស់យុវជននៅសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកក្រោមផ្លាគណៈបក្សសង្គ្រោះជាតិអាមេរិកកម្មវិធីនេះនាងខ្ញុំហើយនឹងយុវជន2នាក់ទៀតនឹងចូលរួមហើយពួកយើងនឹងនិយាយជាភាសាអង់គ្លេសចា៎ដូច្នេះហើយក្នុងថ្ងៃនេះក្នុងរយៈពេល1ម៉ោងនេះនាងខ្ញុំនឹងនិយាយជាភាសាអង់គ្លេសហើយយើងនិយាយភាសាអង់គ្លេសពីព្រោះអីនាងខ្ញុំចង់ឲ្យយុវជនដែលកើតនៅស្រុកនេះឬក៏មានធំឡើងនៅស្រុកនេះបានយល់ពីរឿងស្ថានភាពរឿងអ្វីៗដែលកើតឡើងនៅស្រុកខ្មែរចា៎ហើយនាងខ្ញុំប្រសិនណាពុកម៉ែបងប្អូនចូលចិត្តកម្មវិធីនេះសូមចែករំលែកទៅឲ្យយុវជនផ្សេងៗទៀតដើម្បីឲ្យគាត់ចូលរួមក្នុងការ comment ក្នុងការស្ដាប់ដើម្បីឲ្យគាត់យល់ថាតើស្រុកខ្មែរនឹងមានបញ្ហាដូចម៉េចហើយមានបញ្ហារបៀបម៉េចហើយមួយទៀតនាងខ្ញុំចង់ឲ្យពុកម៉ែបងប្អូនដែលមានយុវជនអាចតាក់ទងនាងខ្ញុំបានឬក៏តាក់ទងយុវជនយើងឆ្នើម2នាក់ទៀតនឹងចូលរួមជាមួយនាងខ្ញុំចាហើយព្រោះនាងខ្ញុំសង្ឃឹមថាយុវជនចំនួនក្រោយដែលជាខ្មែរអាមេរិកាំងនឹងចូលរួមក្នុងការឈឺឆ្អាលហើយនឹងមានការឈឺឆ្អាលដើម្បីមានការផ្លាស់ប្ដូរនៅស្រុកខ្មែរចាសូមជួយ like និងជួយ share program នេះផងចា Well thank you everyone Again, my name is Linda Ou. I am going to be your host. I am honored to spend this hour with you to reflect, to listen to both of my guests, and also I'm deeply invested in a topic tonight. So our topic is honor the ceasefire in Cambodia. So I hope if you have not done any research, my Khmer youth, you have not done any research, but you probably stumble into Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook regarding what's going on in Cambodia. We have seen heartbreaking images from Cambodia, heartbreaking images of many of the temple got ruined and also many of the people being displaced. So we will talk about this into more detail, why it's matter and how your voices are Cambodian American as a youth make, I can call, peace possible. So let me bring out two of my active youths, and you have met them before. They are kind enough tonight to spend an hour or more with me. So let me bring them out. My first one is Soknin, and the other one is Phakdey. ជំរាបសួរបងទាំងពីរ
ជំរាបសួរបងជំរាបសួរអ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នា
Soknin, why don't you introduce yourself and then Phakdey can introduce himself.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning in tonight, and thank you Mong Lina for being the host of the show as always. It's my honor to spend the next hours with the both of you, and my name is Soknin and I'm one of the youth here from the East Coast.
Thank you, Soknin. And Phakdey, introduce yourself and what you do. I know you're a lot younger than me. What are you doing right now? Are you going to school? Anything? Let the audience know because I think this is your second time being on the show.
Yeah. ជំរាបសួរបងប្អូនឈ្មោះខ្ញុំ Phakdey. I'm currently a student at University of California, Santa Barbara, and I've been youth activist, and I've been helping Bolin and with her show and everything and in the background. So this is one of the times where I'm like in front and speaking with people.
And thank you both. I know we seen you on Facebook. We know who Soknin is. She's very active. Soknin is going to go back to school, right? So I just want to let our audience know that besides working for democracy for free, she does have a full-time job. And now she's going back to school. So how do you juggling it, Soknin? And I want you to also encourage other youth to join the movement.
I think it is a lot long to juggle, but I believe in the phase that if there's a will, there's a way. And I also try to live by the phrase be the change. So I will be starting my master program in August for health law and strategy. So that is a full-time commitment. And I will also still continue to work in my healthcare career, so that is my two full-time commitment. And then I will continue to work for democracy for Cambodia, um, continue to be the voices of the people in Cambodia who are voiceless. And I think that it is possible, um, if you can manage if you are able to manage your time. And I know that I've heard a lot about people like me, a youth who are in school, or sometimes they're like, oh, I have a job. I can't commit to democracy. I can't join the movement for Cambodia. In reality, you can. You can manage your time, and and really embody the change. And there is no commitment of like, oh, you need to work 40 hours for democracy. Joining democracy can be as simple as attending a protest, and that is a few hours once in a blue moon, once every couple months. It's not a 40 hours commitment that you have to do 7 days a week. No, a simple joining democracy can be so many different ways. It could be coming on the live show for an hour with Bong Linda, could be talking to your families about the Cambodian history and understanding the current situation in Cambodia. Today, we're talking about the violence, the dispute that is happening or been happening within the last week in Cambodia, but that there are also histories of Cambodia that you can talk with your families about. And some of the things that you learn, speaking of from my personal experience, some of the things that I have learned from democracy work, from working for Cambodia, I have implemented it in my everyday life. I find it very useful, the skill, the experience, the people I get to know. And one of the things that I will always cherish for is the amount of Cambodian community I get to connect with, especially the elderlies. They are very welcome. They welcome you with open hands. And not only that, they create such an environment that nurture you to grow as a youth activist, as the next generation who's going to fight for democracy and really be the change of the country and change the dictator in Cambodia. And I encourage you to really take the first step into doing that. Again, it does not have to be a every day, 7 days a week. It could be as simple as joining the protests, working with your local communities, as well as attending events. We always have events. We always have workshops. The women's, the youth, CNRPA, the whole as a whole, always have different workshops throughout different regions in the U.S., Canada, Europe, Asia. That we always have something going on. So if you feel that this is completely out of your comfort zone, you are in school, you have a full-time job. Start by taking one step. Start by attending the event, and then when you go home, think about it. What did you learn from the event, and share it with your friends, your family, and we can start small, and eventually we will get to the part, you will get to the part where you will be a youth activist, and before you know it, you will start your activism without even being told by your family.
Well, thank you, Soknin. And well, I don't even know Soknin, so we know each other by this work, by our love for Cambodia, our love and passionate passion for democracy for Cambodia, especially. I also active in the U.S. where going to different protests, not just regarding Khmer protests, but also what's going on in current policy in America. So when Soknin say, oh, what she learned from being democracy, from joining democracy movement for Cambodia, it's teach us how to speak up when we see injustice. We able to speak up, and does not matter where you at. You in America, you can always speak up for people that cannot speak in Cambodia. How about you, Phakdey? Share your exciting event and how you become a youth activist.
Yeah, so I became a youth activist because I just found that I wanted to help my community, And with speaking with a lot of Cambodian youths, I felt like a lot of them weren't heavily politicized. They so for me growing up, a lot of my family members were always attending these protests, and they were always trying to organize, and it was a way for me to reconnect with my culture, especially being in America. It's really hard to find a community, especially your own community of Cambodians, because there's a lot of us in the condensed areas, but like it's when it comes to being spread out, there's a few of us in numbers. So once I found the community, I was able to really reconnect with my culture, speak with elderly Cambodian people, understand their own struggles and what they came over here coming as refugees, or just their experiences in America, and understanding the history and the culture that they built before they left Cambodia, as well as the life that they've made here in America. It's something that I really liked to learn about them when it comes to going to all these events, and especially as a youth activist, you really start to connect with people and understand them on a more emotional level, because for them, they're fighting for something that's really like a home for them, that they've always tried to keep close to their heart despite the distance. And I feel like that's a lot of the people that we work with. They're just trying to fight to protect their peace, keep their homes, and it's something that's that they make it a part of them, like not just something that they just talk about, but they go out there and they show it in through their actions, through their donations, through their words they speak. And because of that, I was really motivated to also become a youth activist, and just meet so many people who again are very proudful. They're very prideful to be Cambodian, and they're always willing to connect with any one of their community members, whether it be Cambodian Americans who don't really speak Khmer that well. They're always willing to like talk to them, and then educate them, and then just try to make them feel comfortable. And that was one of the things that I realized as I got older. Like, these people want you to be there, so they're going to try their best to make you as comfortable as possible. But thank you, Bowling.
Thank you, Phakdey. You brought up a really great point. Many times you feel very no connections to the older generations, either their parent, either their grandparent, because the life that we live in America and the life that our parents experienced when they were young, when they were on their way to America, is totally different. And many people feel that disconnect, cannot connect to on a different, doesn't matter how it is, this cannot connect to their root. And for what I always say, when you brought up that, yeah, you when you go to this event, you meet people to a different age group, a different experiences in lives, and that's what um, make you grounded, and also make you feel you belong. These are the people that have your same blood, Cambodian blood. So and do really encourage my youth, or if you are a parent of a youth, or if you feel very disconnected from the Cambodian community, reach out to us, any one of us, and we'll let you know when there's the next event in Long Beach for me, the next event in Lowell, Massachusetts for Soknin, or anywhere in New York. Soknin drive to New York, anywhere in the East Coast, I in the West Coast. So let us know, and we made more than can point you to any. I think we have event probably every single month, different locations. So you're not, so that way you feel connected to where you come from.
And I just wanted to add a little thing, that it's okay if you are the first one to join the movement. I think that sometimes for those people who have grown up in a family who's are not very involved in politics, or not very aware of everything's going on in our country, in our motherland, um, it's okay to be the first one to change that. It can be scary. It can open up too many opportunities that you have never thought of, never imagined of. But it there are so many positive coming out of this experience of joining the pro movement for democracy for Cambodia. Um, you know, being the first one in my family to actively um, participate in the movement, I can say that it was not easy. It's a lot of, I had to learn a lot of things, but one thing I can always attest to is that the community is so welcoming, as I said earlier, but so encouraging that they will explain to you everything that you need to know. There's no such thing as stupid question. There's no such thing as, oh, I don't know enough to join, or I don't know how to protest. That's okay if you've never been to a protest. Come join us and we'll show you how to join the protest, what we do at the protest, and why we're protesting. And the next thing you know, you'll be leading the protest. You'll be walking in front of the protest. So it's okay to be scared. If you ever felt that, oh, you want to join, don't really know how to join, or like feel scared about joining, please reach out to one of us, and we're more than happy to guide you and help you grow in the work itself, and help you feel comfortable in the environment of the Cambodian community and the democracy work.
Talking about protests, I mean, you were at Lowell, Massachusetts protest on Sunday or Saturday, right?
It
Last
was
Saturday?
this Sunday, Bong, this past
On
Sunday.
Sunday. Why you there? What's the reason? I noticed there's a lot of people. Why were you there? What's going on?
So over the weekend on Sunday, I attended a peaceful rally in Lowell, Massachusetts, which was like a 3-hour drive. But again, when there's a will, there's a way. Myself and my family, we drove out there to join a peaceful rally over the Thai and Cambodian dispute, demanding justice for Cambodia, and defending our sovereignty. um, I was very, very impressed. Impressed is not even the word how I felt. It was very emotional. One, because I have seen on the news everywhere about the fallen soldier of um, who have been killed on the line of duty while fighting for the country that they believe in, which is our country, Cambodia. So I would like to send my sincere condolences to those soldiers, and especially to those family who now have to live without their family member, children who have to live without their father, wives who have to live without their husbands during this chaotic time of violence. um, so it was very sad to see that. But it was also emotional to see how many people came out. The peaceful rally was announced at around 1 p.m., which then the rally started at 5. So you really only have 4 hours to spread the words, to gather people around. But when I showed up, there were so many people from different background. When I say different background, I mean a refugee who migrated here decades ago, young people who have been living here and pretty much grown up here, and like people from different areas who have come together despite of like our background differences. We came together um, and protested, and really being the voice of our country and of the people that currently going through um, the violence in Cambodia, and especially those who, like I mentioned, the soldier who have lost their life, and those thousands of people who have been displaced. So it was very, very emotional to see that. But I also felt a sense of pride of being a Cambodian youth. I like the Cambodian community is very uniting. In a short span, everyone comes together. Everyone knows the struggle that is happening right now. Everyone knows about the violence. So we are able to put our personal biases aside, our differences aside, and come together and unite, and be and form that solidarity for our country.
And I hope you noticed the picture I just showed a couple slides. There's a lot of youth in there. So anyone who's watching or who's going to be watching later, please, if you just watching us, next time join us, join any rally, join any conference or any meeting that we put on, so you can come and learn. We don't expect you to know, we expect you to meet a lot of people, meet like-minded people or not like-minded people, so that way you can understand what we're trying to do. Why are we working so hard for? And I know Phakdey went to a protest as well. Where do you go, Phakdey?
Yeah, so I went to one of the protests at Long Beach, California, and we protested in front of the Long Beach City Hall, and so it was really I think for me one of the biggest takeaways from the protest was seeing the huge turnout that we had, but it was also a lot of the, like you said, like a lot of the culture being shared, because one of the unique things about being Cambodian is that we always bring a piece of our culture everywhere we go. And so even if it was and so you could tell it was like a Cambodian protest from the flag. We were playing music, the drums. It was it really felt like, and the monks too, like we really um try to bring our culture into these protests to get people to pay attention to this to the conflict in Cambodia right now. And it's 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 become like one of those protests where I really saw a lot of unity in the Cambodian community. Like I saw a lot of people from, like Soknin said, a lot of people from different backgrounds, a lot of people who weren't even Cambodian. They also came to the protest, and because they were aware of the issues, and that was one of the things that stood out to me, because usually when it comes to these protests, especially in the diaspora, it's really hard to get other people than Cambodian people involved, especially when it comes to like Cambodian youths. And so at these protests, I saw like a lot of youth, a lot of kids, teenagers, and they were all spreading it on social media. They were all they seemed very motivated, very excited to be there. It was something that they chose for themselves to attend, and it's just like it made me feel very proud that we had such a community that supports our troops back home. And even if we're far away, an ocean away from Cambodia, we still find ways to support, and not only like just support them just through our voice, but through our voice and our just through our hearts, but also like sending them donations. A lot of these people, a lot of these soldiers, they became soldiers because they weren't they weren't very rich. They were, they had to be soldiers, and then they don't really have much when they go to war. And then so for them to put their lives on the line, and then their families worry about them and their health, we were able to send them donations, help them. And then also to the families that were displaced along the borders, there was a lot of family members that were displaced, and they're trying to seek some type of refuge and safety. And this ceasefire is an opportunity for them to to an opportunity for them to find support, not just like within their family members, from the whole country. And yeah, and so the protest, it was really something that I it was a highlight of my week. I really liked going there, seeing all those people becoming a part of the action, even though there was only so much that I could do. But overall, it was really a good experience to just immerse myself into, just to understand like how united Cambodian people are when it comes to a community that's been so affected by war, especially over the past 50 years or so.
Thank you, Phakdey, for sharing that. I think we should go to our topic now, right? Since we talked about the protest while we were there. Um, I hope you see some picture that I share. Those are heartbreaking, heartbreaking images of people being displaced. So according to the news, we have over 300,000 civilians being displaced. More than 38 lives have lost. We heard story of family fleeing their home, of fear and divisions. But today we both stand. We went to the protest because we stand together in the hope that everything will be better. So and that's going to be our topic. We want to make sure that our youth know what's going on. The border tensions between Cambodia and Thailand is not something new. They go back many generations, from colonial time regarding the temples dispute like here. But on July 2025, violence escalated really quickly. So Cambodians showed a soldier was killed in May, then a landmine wounded Thai troops. So it trickled for this basically in July. So there's an airstrike follow, life lost, community empty. So on July 28th, which is yesterday, with the help from Malaysia, the US, and China, and leader from both countries, Cambodia and Thai, signed a immediate and unconditional ceasefire because the fighting been um, 4 or 5 days. So let us talk about the conflicts. Let us talk what's going on. Let me bring my other youth back in. So, how do you feel about the conflicts, Soknin? I know you went to a protest because you have hope of the international community will hear your voice, will hear all the Khmer voice regarding this horrible situations at the border. Um, what's your take on it?
I think it's definitely very sad to see that the two countries, the two neighboring country, are uh, sorting to violence, because they cannot, over the last 40 years, they have not been able to have a talk with a solution. Um, the two countries have been um, going back and forth, but there's no solution. There's no peaceful and clear solution regarding the dispute, regarding the land, regarding the border. And the reason why people all over the world, we talked about Long Beach and we talked about Lowell, Massachusetts, but we also have people who are in South Korea, Australia, and many part of the world who have been protesting over the weekend and will continue to protest this upcoming weekend to again be the voices of the people of Cambodia and seeking assistance from international communities. And in a sense, the international community have heard us and have assisted in putting a ceasefire to the violence. However, um, I the ceasefire is not the end of it, because again we still don't have a solution. A ceasefire in a sense is a pause, it's an agreement to stop the aggression between the two countries, but we still don't have justice. We still don't have justice for Cambodia as a whole, as a country. We don't have justice for the people who have died during the violence. We don't have justice for the thousands of families who have been displaced during this violent time. So it's I can't even say the word that I am shocked that it had happened, because again this is not something new. The Cambodian and the Thai have been talking, what you call talking, for a solution for the last for decades now, and we cannot find a solution. So what the Cambodian community, especially outside of the country, is demanding is that the Cambodian government take the dispute to international community like ICJ, um, and we will continue to keep fighting and being the voice for people until we find the real justice.
Thank you, Soknin. Phakdey, what's your take on the whole situations? I actually summarize a little bit of what's going on for the past 5 days. The conflicts not just happened the last 5 days. It's been going on for decades and decades, for many years. What's your take on it?
Yeah, like Soknin said, the justice in Cambodia is ongoing and it does not just stop at a ceasefire. There's been more than 2 million undocumented Cambodian workers in Thailand, and just over the past week, more than 200,000 of them are fleeing or fled to Cambodia. So not only do we have to think about the issues that are at the border, but just we have to think about all the Cambodians who are in Thailand and how can we help them? How can we, provide aid to them? Because again, their source of income is working as a migrant worker in industries that Thailand depends on, such as the automotive industry or the electronic industry. Since Thailand is such a big export country and one of their biggest export countries one of the biggest countries they export to is the United States. A lot of them, and a lot of the Thai people are, you know, they're they're wondering what are they going to do, especially with the ceasefire agreement. One of the terms that President Trump had was that it wasn't the ceasefire. There would be a 36% tariff on Thailand, and that was one of the main reasons why they agreed to it. However, like in the midst of all this, we need to understand that there's a lot of economic and political implications, and they're not just stopping just because it's Cambodian people are asking for it. They're stopping because there are consequences to their actions, and as Cambodian people, we need to not just be focused on the current conflict, but also how can we uh, you know we take in the news, and how can we prepare for instances where there's Cambodian people who might need aid, workers, people who are displaced, people who across Cambodia whose businesses are coming to a halt, who's looking at this war as something that's negatively affecting them. And what is our government going to do to help those people? Because a lot of the businesses that Cambodia does is also with Thailand, and there's like millions of dollars, billions of dollars that come through that border. And how are we going to account for that in the future, especially with tensions growing between both governments and going forward?
Thank you, Phakdey, for bringing up an economic issue that Cambodian going to be facing. I mean, they already face hardships and after COVID-19, but now we are talking about migrant worker returning to Cambodia. And what happened, I just want to let everyone know that even though we have ceasefires going on right now, please keep the donation coming in, because people that being displaced from their home, they you see the picture that they need donation. The shoulders family need donations. So even there's no fighting at the border, the support still going on, and we do need everyone's support at the border. The people that sacrificed their life, the family that sacrificed their life, the family that left home at the border to seek safety need your support, and don't stop with donations. Donations still coming. Please keep the donation coming, even though the ceasefire is going on. And I really like the point that Soknin said. Ceasefire, what's going on? Yes, ceasefire stop the bullet from moving, but at the same time, what is the solutions? We on the international level, we in America, we want today is a very not today. The ceasefire that happening on the 28th is a good example of how Thai and Cambodia cannot continue to talk, because that's what happened. It escalated because they are negotiating. They keep talking between Thai and Cambodia. We need an international community to come in, and we do have ICJ that can help Cambodia regarding water, land, and marine issue. So what I'm asking, or what everyone asking, is please use those law that ICJ and also Cambodia have Paris Peace Accord that protects our land from invasions or from aggression from neighbor. And that is something that we as a Cambodian that living overseas, we seek that. Anything you want to add, something?
Just a little touch base on the immigration bong. I know that there are about 2 million immigrants, migrant workers who have been in Thailand, who have unfortunately had to leave their home to go to Thailand to find jobs, to survive, to provide for their family. They leave Cambodia because of the economy decline in Cambodia. So they have to go to Thailand, the neighboring country, to find jobs and provide for their family. However, when the dispute was going on, they were faced with discrimination because they're Cambodian, and now they're being forced to return back to Cambodia. What do you think happened to those people when the economy clearly hasn't gotten any better? And now we are in a worse situation because of the dispute going on, because of the violence between the two countries. So I just want the audience to think about it. Like, yes, the ceasefire is going on. It's a good thing because, we're moving in the right direction. But and that people deserve safety. However, we need to think in a bigger picture. The ceasefire is going on, but what is there in place? Is there even a solution to ensure that this does not happen in the future? We don't have that solution yet, and we don't have that solution because the Thai government and Cambodia government cannot find a solution based on talking, and that's why we have been asking and we'll continue to ask for for international community to get involved. And we have talked about ICJ multiple times during this live show, and as I mentioned earlier, people, especially outside of the country, will continue to do protests this upcoming weekends, and continue to demand that the Cambodian government take the case to ICJ, and really show the world about what's going on in Cambodia. All of us three here are in the U.S. We might be far from the border, but we see what's going on at the border. We see what's going on in Cambodia. We see the struggle of people in Cambodia, and we are not only watching, but we are demanding for justice for our people and for both government to respect the ceasefires and protect the civilians, and really find a solution so that way this does not repeat the next month, the next year. Um, this has happened in the past. This is not the first time that this has happened between Cambodia and Thai government. And as the youth, as the next generation, um, we can't sit back and just watch this. I refuse to be the generation of um, Cambodian citizen to accept violence as an answer, and that's why I encourage the youth to show up and show out, attend the protests, work with your community partners, even to fundraise to help those people. Like Bong Linda mentioned, even though there is ceasefire going on, we still need donation. We still need to help those people who have been struggling and will continue to struggle. And those family of the deceased. And so, yeah, I strongly encourage the youth to really be active and start participating, especially during this difficult time right now, during the violence that we are facing.
And this is a really good time for people to get involved, because everyone, many people, and I'm sure you guys have seen it on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, regarding Cambodia, what's going on in Cambodia. And I really encourage the youth, especially Cambodian American youth, that born in this country or grow up in this country, to continue to monitor and see what's going on and ask question, why did this happen, why did that happen, because that will open your eyes, make you feel closest to Cambodia. um, you are Many people are youth, they really so much involved with school, so much involved with trying to build a life, but building a career, go to school, finish school, build a career. Later on, when people are older, they want to be connected to their root. Does not matter how many years you are living in America, or how many year you born in America, how many years you live in America, or never know where Cambodia is at. But eventually you will want to go and see where your parent, grandparent, where your blood come from. And I really encourage everyone to read the news, continue what's going on, so that way you understand the situation in Cambodia, and you can say proudly that I am Cambodian. I'm Cambodian American. I'm Cambodian. My family is Cambodian, and I'm proud of it. And that's what I want our youth to show pride on who they are. don't just hide. Oh, I'm Asian, and I don't want you. I don't want any you to say that. I want you to really care and say, this is where I came from. This is who I am, because that's how my parent, my grandparent, my generations. No matter how many years you've been in the U.S., this will never erase where you come from, because that's where your blood. I know when I said where you come from, people would say I was born in America. I come from America. Um, I'm just saying, where your blood originally came from, your parent, your grandparent, is Cambodia. Any to add, Phakdey?
Yeah, I agree with Bonglin. It's very important to, not just see this as a personal issue between two states, but also something about protecting our, our cultural heritage and our roots. I think it's really important to, go to things such as these protests, because not only are you fighting for a good cause and a good message, but it's also an immersive experience. Like, you really do feel like, it doesn't matter for all that lost time you had, you can reconnect with all these people, and it's like, they've always been waiting for you, and they have like very open arms. Though, when you go to a Cambodian protest, there's always going to be, someone with water, someone with food. You want some shade, they'll save a spot for you under the shade. You can talk to anybody, and then, like, just reconnect with them and build that sense of community, especially because, being Cambodian, it really is hard for us to be prideful, because a lot of our history is, a lot of American people know our history as the Cambodian genocide, but we're trying to rewrite that. We're trying to create a better future for Cambodian people, not just not just abroad here, which is what a lot of people are doing, but like in Cambodia, because Cambodia is a place that we all can see as something beautiful, natural, and we want it to you know be in the best condition possible, not just for us, but for future generations, for the past generations who want to visit, who want to you know live their childhood again. And it's really important that we keep that mentality of fighting forward, going forward, moving, and not just seeing it as something just between like two states, but like Soknin said, like a bigger picture of we are fighting for our cultural heritage, and something that we can go back to and look on for years more.
Thank you, Phakdey. Soknin, do you do you feel a moment of proud when you go to protest? Because some Phakdey keeps saying how proud he is, how happy he is to meet other Cambodian community, the diaspora, especially the youth. There's a lot of youth this weekend, so I hope you feel very proud, very connected, very on one purpose, that is Cambodia.
Yes, I every protest every protest that I have attended, Bong, I have always felt that sense of proud, and that I can stand there with the Cambodian community from so many different places and say, I am Cambodian. We are Cambodian, and we are a community, and we are here to fight for the same cause, especially this weekend. But not just this weekend. We have had protests many time in the past, and we'll continue to have those in the future. And like Pekrai mentioned, and you have mentioned, that being Cambodian is something that we should be proud of. He mentioned in Long Beach, when he went to the protest this weekend, you can immediately see the identity of Cambodia with the flags, with the mug, with the Khmer, with everything going on. You can just look at it for 2 seconds and say, and people on the crowd, I'm sure people driving by on the street will probably look at the crowd and be like, oh yeah, this is a Cambodian community. So I always feel so prideful, and that is one of the reasons that push me to participate in this work every day, despite being busy and having a busy life. It's never too busy to be Cambodian. That's how I look at it. And I really, really encourage the younger generation to really start reconnecting. And like you mentioned many times, Bong, never forget your roots. Yes, you may be born in America. You've never even seen what Cambodia looks like. But at the end of the day, your family came from Cambodian, and we are still Cambodian regardless of where we born, where we grow up, where we had access to education, access to healthcare. None of that really matter. What really matter most is that we are still Cambodian, and because we are Cambodian, we have the duty to fight for our country, and that means fighting for peace, fighting for justice, protecting our country and protecting the people of our country, protecting our fellow Cambodians, and that can be done in so many different ways, in so many different places. Just because you are not physically in the country does not mean you can make a change. You can be the change anywhere in the world, in the US, Europe, you name it, wherever you are, you can always be the change. And this past weekend, I've seen so many youth and so many younger generation, even like the little one that we've seen on the screen earlier. They came out, they raised the flag, and when you ask them, what are you doing here, and they know that they're here to fight for their country, they may be too young to understand what is violent, what is war, but um, they are out there. They are out there to protect Cambodia. They're out there voicing Cambodia. So I hope that those youth will continue to be engaged, continue to talk to their families, and those not the youth that not just the youth themselves, but their family will continue to educate them, share the stories of how the family migrated from seek refugee here in the U.S. and some of the history that we currently see every day here in the U.S. and really starting to get involved. And we don't want to be the generation to repeat history. So I always, no matter where I go, whether I go to a different country, whether I'm going to a protest, I'm going to the UN, I always feel that sense of pride of that representing my culture, representing my identity. And not only that, it allows me to reconnect with my identity even deeper, reconnecting with my root even deeper, especially when I am with the Cambodian community, because they never shy to share their history, to share their story, their family story, and next thing you know, everyone are all. It just feels like one family. It just feels like one family, even though we all live in such different states, so far away across the country, different part of the country. We came to the U.S. many different ways. Some have their family brought them here. Some were born here. Some were here since the 70s, seeking shelter. But once you start talking, you become one family, and that's one of the things that I love the most about the Cambodian community and the culture that we have.
Thank you, Soknin. And I just want to make it clear for our audience, the reason we are here talking about the conflicts between Thailand and between Cambodia and Thailand, it's not we are bashing anything, because we are here because we are very deeply hurt to see our people suffering, and very proud of the people that protect our border, our troop at the border. And we do, Soknin started already sending condolence to the family that affected by this conflicts. And I just want to make it clear, no matter how the economy, we touch base a little bit, economy, we touch base on how the government, I don't usually call them government, I call them regime, need to take the case to ICJ. But at the end, no matter what, this show is about our people, about how people are being affected, how innocent life in Cambodian life that being affected. Phakdey, I know there's a lot of, so I keep hearing social media. It's not enough, but what do you want to send? What message do you want to send to the world regarding this issue?
Um, the message that I want to send the world regarding this issue is that, you know, Cambodia seeks peace, and we're not really wanting this war to continue, and this conflict to continue. And it's important for us to understand that, you know, at the end of the day, like, people are, people are losing a lot of their lives, their livelihood, and we just want peace in Cambodia. And and peace comes in the form of like our people, not having to being seeking asylum, seeking refuge, but also peace is something that we should be proud of. Peace should not be bargained for. And I feel like right now Cambodia has to bargain for its peace, and it's not something that any state, any nation, any people should do, because we're always entitled to defend our own rights, defend our human rights, and it's something that we're all born with. So it's um it's an issue that I think we should all just take into account, that like this isn't, you know, Cambodia is not being an aggressor. We're not doing aggressive acts to take anything. We just want to defend our peace and our livelihood, and just the nation that we have, just the state that we have.
Thank you, Phakdey. Soknin, we have like less than 8 minutes left. What do you want the international community to hear from our youth, from you?
I think my message for the international community is to stand with Cambodia, and that can be done through investigating who started the dispute between the two countries. As we have seen on the news, there's a lot of back and forth, like, oh, Thailand started first, Cambodia started first, and that's one thing I want to caution our audience. Yes, social media can be a good thing. It could be a source of news, a source of information, but really look into the information that you read on social media, that you see on your screen. Is it valid? Where does the source come from? So don't just believe everything that you see on your screen. So for the I would like for the community, the international community, to start an independent investigation on how it started, who started it, acknowledgement of the violation of the international law that we have in place, and support for the displaced, the thousands of family that have been displaced, as we have talked about and discussed on the show. A clear and a peaceful solution to the dispute, so that we can ensure there will be no violence, that this will not repeat history, and um, support the families of the fallen soldiers. And for that is my request to the international community. But I also encourage and I strongly ask that the Cambodian communities also um, start participating if you haven't done so, and if you have started and if you are doing it now, to continue doing that. And if you care about the country, start being the representing our country. Start attending the protests. We have many more, and if you do not know if your current local community have a protest, you can reach out to us as well, because we are very aware of different location of protests that people are doing, peaceful rally, or different event. Donate to our country to help with the displaced, to help with the family of the fallen troops, and really start joining the movement, and fighting for your country, because as youth, we are the next generation who's going to suffer the most if we keep going the same pathway that we have been going, through dictatorship, through injustice, democracy backsliding. So I refuse, and I know that I refuse to accept that as the society, as the country that I live in. And I know that many other youth, especially the one living in the US, where they live in a democracy world, they know what democracy looks like. They know what democracy feels like. I cannot imagine them accepting democracy backsliding as the world that they live in. So we refuse to accept that as a generation, and we must keep fighting and continue to actively participating, to ensure that our country find a real justice and not just a pause.
Thank you, Soknin. You brought a good point. Doesn't matter where you live in America. The opportunity, the education, the job market that being offered in America to us that live in America. We want the same thing for Cambodia. We want the same thing for Cambodia youth. We want everyone in Cambodia to have the opportunity to thrive, opportunity to better themselves, um, to go to school also. Everything, an opportunity that America's offered to us, we want that opportunity. Our show is coming to close. Today, what's your last word?
Yeah, my last words is probably human right is something that you're born with, and it's not a crime to protect it.
That's a very good point. Thank you, Pekadai, and thank you, Soknin. And Soknin talked about change. So I want, like I said, thank you for being here. Stay strong, stay curious, both of you, and I hope other youth stay strong, stay curious, and never underestimate of your power to change the world. And I say that honestly, not just for you two, it's for the youth in America, the youth everywhere. And it's because we Cambodian, we want the youth in Cambodian American or American born here. That's how a Khmer blood. Don't ever underestimate your power to change, and that change for Cambodia forward, looking better future for Cambodia. So a better future for Cambodia start with your own history, your own story, and your family. Everyone have a history. Everyone have a story. Reach out. Like I said again, many youth feel very disconnected from their parent, from their grandparent. Come and talk to us. Come join our one of our come join my show, and then you'll do some research and you'll able to talk about it. So information is very powerful. So please keep this week. It's a really good opportunity for the Cambodian American youth to follow what's going on. And I'm not saying because we are in a conflict with Thailand, you hear about it, but I want the youth to continue to get involved, continue to read news, independent media, independent news. Don't read propaganda. When you hear it once, you hear it twice, you hear it three times the same thing, that's propaganda. And that's coming from places that you don't. So seek out independent medias, read about it. There's a lot of news in English this week regarding Cambodia and Thai conflict. So please read them, learn them, and say, why is this happen? Why? Be curious, and be asking your parent questions. Why is this happen? Why is that happen? And like I said, stay away from propaganda and seek out to us. Soknin in the East Coast, Pekra and I in the West Coast, we can help you and tell you when is the next event. Join us and let meet and let talk about what we can do for Cambodia. Good. Well, thank you both for being here. See you next time. And our audience, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully, you learn a lot from Cambodia, especially the youth. And if you have comments, please put it on. If you have a suggestion what we should do on the next show, put it on as well. I do read all your comments, and hopefully everyone have a good weekend. If you are in Cambodia, please be safe, be careful, and if you in America, please donate, but don't donate blindly. Donate where it's the source, the foundation that accepting your money. Where does it go? Please be alert and be look out what's going on. Well, thank you and have a good evening, everyone.